In part one, we made a dive button, and then we made a submarine graphic, and you can see if I click on it, it tells me it's a graphic in the property inspector, and I made a waves graphic. Now what I'm going to do is some animation. When we did our bouncing ball timeline animation, we thought it through first, and we made our movie clip loop, so it went down, up, down. And by bringing it back to where it started, we had a nice smooth loop. In this case, what we're going to do with our waves is we're going to go center, left, center, right, and back to the center. 5 keyframes. And I want this to take a nice long time. Now remember that I do my animating never on the main timeline, but in movie clips. So now that I have a graphic, I'm going to say modify, convert to symbol. This is going to be a movie clip, and this is going to be my waves movie clip. Let me zoom back in where you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now I'm going to double click that waves movie clip, and the only indication I get that I'm inside a movie clip is scene 1, which is the main timeline, is now followed by this little label that says scene 2. What I'm going to do here is switch to tiny frames, and that way I can put a keyframe, which is F6 at 200, another one at 400, which should be right around here, one at 600, which is here, and then one at 800, which is here. So I've got my 5 keyframes. 1, 200, 400, 600, 800. Now the first, third, and fifth are going to be center. Center, left, center, right, center. So what I can now do is take the second one. Here's the second keyframe. Let me select that. I'm going to hold my shift key to constrain the dragging, and I'm going to move this waves graphic to the left. Now the third keyframe is already back in the center, and the fourth keyframe, let me select it here, I'm going to go all the way off to the right. Now, of course, at this point, if I scrub across the timeline, what you're going to see is quick jumps. Why? I have no tweens in here. This is a real good place to use a classic tween. And the first thing I'm going to do, I could either select in between 2 keyframes and just say insert classic tween, or I can actually highlight across the multiple frames. Let me finish highlighting this. Oh, I'm way ahead of it. Okay, let me go back to my keyframes. Here we go. I started in the wrong place. Let's go back here, highlight the rest of the keyframes, and just say insert classic tween, and they're all there. Now you'll see if I scrub across my timeline, it's going center, left, center, right, and back to the center. The only thing that's missing is I don't have a very natural motion. If I test my movie, you can see the waves are just kind of moving along, and then they're going to stop rather suddenly in a minute, and they're going to go back the other direction. Let's add some easing. You can also see the 3 states of my dive button. It's not wired up yet, but it's working. What we want is, let's do some easing. And easing is easy to get confused because in CS4 especially, they don't even give you the in and out command indication until you finish setting dialog, which is a little strange. What I'm going to do is drag to the right, which is to ease out, so that my waves slow down as they move to the outside. And I'm going to click the next tween and go to the left, which is ease in. I'll go all the way here. Now let me continue. They speed up towards the center. Now I'm going to ease out again, which is dragging to the right. And the last one is going to be ease in. If you have trouble remembering the difference between ease out and ease in, think of easing as your gas pedal. If you ease your gas pedal on your car out, you'll slow down, you'll decelerate. If you ease your gas pedal in, you'll accelerate. Now that the easing is there, you can see that the waves are going to kind of slow down as they move to the edge, and then they're going to stop and they're going to slosh back the other way. And now we have something that will make us seasick. It's a little bit more natural. Let's do something similar to the submarine. We'll go back to the main timeline. I'm going to save my movie. Let me set my frames to normal again so I can see the numbers on the timeline a little bit more easily. And the same thing, if I try to go in here, I just have a shape. I don't want to put my movie clip inside my graphic. It's a common mistake, but the movie clip is a container for the graphic. The movie clip handles the animation. So I'm going to say convert to symbol, F8. This is going to be my sub movie clip. Now I'm going to double click and go inside, and I'm going to make this very subtle. I think I'll go to about 20 and put a keyframe, 60 and 80, and then I'm just going to move this one. I'm going to nudge it a little bit with the arrows. Let me come down and forward, and oops, lost it here. Let me give it a little bit of a nudge. I'm going to turn the magnet off so I can drag in smaller increments. Here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to nudge up and back, and I'm going to give this submarine a little nudge this way, and I'm just going to put in a classic tween for the whole thing. So I have this small motion. When I test the movie, I now have the sub bobbing up and down in the waves. The next thing I'm going to do is create the diving part of the loop, and then we'll add some actions that control that, and then we can wire the button up and we'll be done.